See, this is dandelion. Call it dandelion. Lion's tooth. And just show you some of the leaves there, which aren't too damaged. There we go. Look like tooths of the lion. It's also known as piss and lee, or wet the bed, because they believe it's a diuretic during the night time. It'll make you wee the bed, but I don't have that problem. So what you do is dig it out of the ground like this. Try and take it in one big lump. I like to keep the leaves on so I can ID it later. Then just separate the mud from the roots just by giving it a gentle rub. There you can see some tubers coming through as well. And that's what the dandelion root looks like. Also, this time of year, springtime, it's a good time to eat it as a vegetable and as coffee. You'll also see a kind of latex liquid coming out of there as well. And just snap a little bit off, you should be able to see it soon. You see that? There's a little bit of latex coming through. There and there. Okay. So what we need to do now is collect loads more of these. Lovely long straight tuber there. So I've shown you how to collect dandelion out from the allotment, and now we're going to show you a bit more about it. So this is the dandelion all cleaned up. You can see it here. This has got a massive tuber on here which will go really, really well. That will probably go well cooked and then fried. You can see the rosette of the plant at the top there. Okay. Now it's called dandelion or dandelion, tooth of the lion, for ID purposes. Let me get a good example here. Here, here's a good example. You can see how serrated the teeth are there. Okay. So it's pretty easy to ID when you're out and about. Okay. It's also known as piss and lee, or piss the bed, because it's a diuretic and it's meant to make you wee at night. I'm not sure about that, to be honest with you. I have plenty of these in the evening as a caffeine replacement and it seems absolutely fine. Okay. So the root's edible. That can be cleaned, chopped and fried and added with a bit of soy sauce, which is nice. And the leaves are also edible. So what I'm going to show you today is we're going to do the cleaning process. We're going to get all of the mud off of here, and then I'm going to show you how to blend it up, and then we're going to dry it, and then we're going to roast it, and we're going to show you how to drink it. Let's do that. So what I'm going to do is give them a quick scrub over. I purposely left the leaves on here so I can ID each and every one, so there's no mistaking that anything has accidentally gone into here that we don't know, or could be a bad batch. So each one I can tell dandelion. Just give them a quick scrub over, try and clean out as much as possible. Try and get all of the mud off. The problem is where our allotment's situated is a really clayey soil, so it sticks to absolutely everything. That's the first round of washing off, and that's just to get the main clumps out. What we need to do next is run it under cold running water to get all of the last bits of mud out. Right, so we've gone through the second stage of cleaning, which has washed them off and cleaned them up quite nicely. What we need to do now is decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to chuck away. So what I'm looking for is big thick tubers like this, which we can use for the vegetables, and really nice crisp fresh leaves. So I want to keep some of the fresh leaves for salads and things like that, and I want to keep some of the thicker tubers for vegetables. And what I'll use for the thinner tubers is the coffee. Okay, so let's separate them and chuck out the rest. Let's get started. So let's have a look at the leaves here. Maybe one bit I'll put down there for the leaves. Tube is fairly thick. Let's have some of that for vegetable. Just trim up the ends. Vegetable. Chuck. Yeah, vegetables there. Coffee there. Trim that bit up. Next. There's a couple of leaves on there. I don't want to take too many, they're not particularly tasty. Chuck the rest of the leaves. It's only a thin one, so it goes with coffee. And cut up a bit smaller. Check that out there. Check that. Check that. Next one, half and half really. Don't want any of the leaves for that. Have that bit for vegetables. Coffee. So what we've got here now is the wash product. We've got the smaller stuff, which is going for the coffee. Got a few leaves. Then we've got the bigger stuff, which are going to be vegetables. Next stage is to blend up the stuff for the coffee. So we're going to take the smaller bits here, and we're going to put them in the blender. And what we're looking for is to get about a rice sized bit, just about the same sort of size you'd have for normal ground coffee. Just put this in. Just gently put them in. Then let's blend the dandelion up. Hopefully I haven't overstacked it. think. Let's see how we're looking now. Just grab it. Looking good. Just a little bit, and I'll be happy. I think that's enough. Okay, let's take this off. Turn this off as well. Here we go. That's the sort of consistency and texture you're looking for. Smells fantastic. Now it's time to try it. While I've been busy cleaning up all of the dandelion, I preheated the oven to about 70-80 degrees, checking it every now and then just to make sure that it's warm but not too hot. What we're looking for is to dry out the dandelion but not cook it. So let's get it in the tray. Loads and loads here. It should last me for a while. Let's try and get all of this out. Then you need to spread it over the tray so as much air as possible can get to it. That way it will dry out quicker. This is what it's looking like now. Next stage, in the oven for drying. Just leave the door a little bit ajar. That lets all the moisture out instead of keeping it in there, which will just keep everything moist and it will just cook it instead. If you leave the door open a little bit, the moisture can escape and that will dry it. It's a lot cheaper than buying a dehydrator. Every once in a while you want to check on it to make sure that it's drying out evenly. So what I do is I just pull it out, have a quick look. Oh, that smells incredible. Really smells like a vegetable right now. I'll just give it a little bit of a stir around. That will release a bit of extra moisture, and the extra moisture which might be sitting in there. It smells really, really good. I can hear already some of it's drying out nicely. And I don't really want to give specific times of how long to keep it in here to dry out. When it's done, it's done. It depends on how much is in here, how much moisture is in the root. Just keep checking it every, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and just touch it with your hands. You'll know whether it's dried out or whether it's still squishy and soft. Just give it a nice stir around. Level it out again. And put it back to continue to dry. Remember to leave the door ajar a bit. Whilst we're waiting for the coffee to dry out in the oven, what I'm going to do is cook some of the vegetables, just show you how it can be done and give you an idea. So just take a few of the vegetables we picked earlier and cleaned up. All of that's in the pan so far is olive oil. Just pop them in the pan. I'm going to saute them for a few minutes. Add a bit of salt. Just let it cook. Just like any other vegetable. You can try and peel the skin if you want, but these dandelions are quite small, so it's not really worth it. In better soils they get much bigger roots. Just checking to see how soft they're getting. Still firm yet. Yeah, they're getting soft now. We're just about there, I think. Just going to drain off the excess oil. Add some butter. And some pepper. Then plate up. You see, they look like just any other vegetable. Oh, nearly lost them. Let's see what it tastes like. Let's do the taste test. Nice. Tastes just like potato or anything else. It's just like a vegetable. Very nice actually. It's bizarre because if people actually realised how tasty they are and how wonderful the coffee is, people wouldn't be buying weed killer. No way. Absolutely delicious. That's why I've nearly eaten them all. Recommend it. Lovely. Let's see how we're doing with the coffee. What I like about dandelion is it's a pretty safe wild food. You can't mistake it with a huge amount of other things. It's not as scary as something like when you're dealing with mushrooms and you're foraging with mushrooms. They're everywhere. Most people can recognise dandelion. Yeah, it's getting there. It's just still quite moist. The temptation I've got now is to just blast up and do the final roasting, but I know it's going to cook it as well. It's whether or not you can get away with it. I'll turn it up a bit. Let's go for it. Normal roasting temperature like you do for every vegetables, around 200 degrees, maybe a little bit higher maybe. Right, let's see how we're getting on now. Just want to open this gently in case the smoke pours out. You can tell when it's roasted when you can see little whiffs of smoke coming off of it, or when you open the door you can see bits of smoke coming out of it too. Let's see. I think that's mainly moisture. It smells delicious though. Let's have a look. I'm really looking forward to trying some of this. Yeah, there's still a lot of moisture in there. Let's see if it's done now. It's been in there quite a while. It smells like coffee now, so let's see what we've got. Oh, the smoke's coming out, so it's a good sign. Oh, a bit too much smoke of anything. Hopefully that won't set the alarms off, but it will. Let's get this out quickly. There we have the roasted coffee. Dandelion coffee. So now it's time to make the coffee. Let's start. Put some boiling water into a pan. I'm only going to do about one portion. 1 cup should I say. Just so I can show you how it's done. And I'll add about 2 tablespoon and a half maybe of the dandelion coffee. Give it a stir. What you're aiming for is to get it black in there, just like if you was making real coffee. You know, at the moment it's kind of a tea colour, but then a bit of a boil up that should turn it black. If it doesn't turn black, then I'll add a bit more to it. So I'll just let it heat up for a bit and see what happens. Just have a look under the light and see how dark it's got. You can probably see in there as well. Yeah, I think that's good. Just turn the heat off. And then add it to the press. Right, so we've taken dandelion and we've gone all the way through all of the process. So it's dandelion, tooth of the lion, or lion's tooth, or also known as piston the bed. So we've had a look at the edible root, which I've got quite a few here. I'll just show you a bit of a plate as well. So they can be cooked as a normal vegetable. And gone through the cleaning process with you, the blending process, where we took it through the blender and we broke it down to about roast sized pieces. Then we went through the drying process for making the coffee in the oven, and also the roasting process. And now we're at how to drink. So, just a simple coffee press. Pop it through like any other coffee. And pour. And let me show you this. Can't tilt it too much. Looks exactly the same like any coffee. And like all coffees, I like a bit of milk. A bit of sugar as well. It's really not that difficult. I think people are a little bit worried or apprehensive about trying it, as it's a bit of strange and unusual. They're not used to eating wild foods, but once you get used to it, it just becomes normal and a pleasure as well. I think it's added a bit of sugar and a bit of milk. And the good thing about dandelion coffee is it's caffeine free. It's full of vitamins and minerals and all sorts of other nutrients which are really good for you. So, you know, it's just a bit easier on the digestive system than compared to normal coffee. A little bit more milk. There we go. It just takes a little bit of practice, that's all. You know, have a couple of goes, let it try, and the more times you do it, the better you'll get at it, and it'll just become like a normal routine. Okay. Coffee with milk. Delicious. Like any other coffee. Really recommend it. Have a go and try it. One thing that's worth mentioning is it's best to do it either in the autumn when it's finished flowering, through the winter time, or early spring. If you do it in the summertime, all the energy is going up to the flower. It's pretty bitter. I don't know that about coffee, but I know if you're trying to eat the root, it's an edible. It's very, very bitter in the summer. Last year in the summer I tried eating the roots and oh, they were disgusting, absolutely horrible. But I persevered and I realised that different seasons plants have different abilities. You just need to work with them and think a little bit outside the box. It's like having strawberries in December. We get used to things like that. You know, having summer fruits all year round, and we consider that normal food, but it's not. That's not the way the world works, is it? You know, much more natural and much more healthy. It's lovely. Enjoy it. Let me know how you get on. Let your friends try it as well. Thanks for watching.